I woke up choking on dust, my lips cracked and bleeding. The Dubai sun burned through my eyelids as voices spoke in Arabic above me. My body wouldn't move. I tried to remember how I got here, but my mind was fog and fire. Then I heard it, a voice I recognized. Mr. Lawson, my boss. He was laughing into his phone, standing 20 feet away near a black SUV. He won't make it back alive, he said, still chuckling. Trust me, nobody will ever find him out here. Welcome to Revenge Sanity, where real-life stories expose betrayal, pain, and unexpected twists. The workers grabbed my arms and legs. I wanted to scream, to fight, but nothing worked. They were carrying me toward a dumpster filled with construction waste. Mr. Lawson climbed into his SUV without looking back. The engine roared to life. As darkness pulled me under again, one thought burned through the haze. He took everything. My passport, my salary, my life, and he was leaving me to die like garbage. I opened my eyes to fluorescent lights and the smell of disinfectant. A man's face hovered above me. Dark skin, kind eyes, worry written across his forehead. You're awake, he said in accented English. Thank God you're awake. My throat felt like sandpaper. He held water to my lips, and I drank desperately. I'm Yusuf, he said. I drive taxi. I found you in that dumpster. You were almost gone, brother. The clinic walls were thin, paint peeling in corners. This wasn't a hospital. This was somewhere cheap, somewhere for people without papers. My passport, I croaked. My boss took everything. Yusuf's expression changed. His jaw tightened. Your boss name is Lawson? He asked quietly. I stared at him. How did he know? I worked for him too, Yusuf said. 3 years ago. He did the same thing to me. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a brown envelope, worn and creased. He gave me this once, but never collected it. I think you need to see what's inside. My hand shook as I opened the envelope. Inside were documents, printed emails, bank statements. My eyes scanned the pages and my blood turned to ice. Lawson was laundering money. Company funds moved through fake Dubai suppliers. Millions of dollars disappearing into offshore accounts. But that wasn't what made my heart stop. Clipped to the back was a photocopy of my passport. My passport, the one he claimed he needed for work permits. There was a date stamped on it from 6 months ago, with handwritten notes in the margin. Expendable. No family ties. Perfect. He had planned this. For months, Lawson had planned to leave me here to die. He's a monster, Yusuf whispered. I was about to respond when someone started pounding on the clinic door. Heavy fists. Aggressive shouts. Emeka, we know you're in there. Open up. My name. They were calling my name. Yusuf's eyes went wide with fear. Back door, he hissed. Now. We ran through narrow alleys between buildings, the shouts growing louder behind us. Immigration, the men yelled, but Yusuf shook his head as we ducked behind a dumpster. They're not immigration, he panted. I heard one of them on the phone. He said, Boss wants him gone. My legs trembled. These were Lawson's men. He'd sent people to finish what he started. We pressed against the wall as footsteps pounded past. One of the men stopped, speaking rapidly into his phone. I caught fragments. The taxi driver, too. Yusuf. Yes, he's on the list. Yusuf grabbed my arm. His face had gone pale. They know me, he breathed. I'm wanted, too. We waited until the footsteps faded. Then Yusuf pulled me deeper into the maze of back streets. There's only one way now, he said. We get you new identity. Fake papers. It's risky, but it's the only chance. I looked at him. This stranger who saved my life was now risking everything for me. Why are you helping me? I asked. He smiled sadly. Because nobody helped me when Lawson destroyed my life. I won't let him win again. 3 weeks later, I became Daniel Okafor. New name, new face in the system, new life. I work construction sites under the table. Cash only, no questions asked. The sun baked my skin darker. My muscles grew hard from labor. But every night, I researched Lawson. I studied his company, his contracts, his movements. Yusuf helped me access public records through his hacker friends. We built a file thick with evidence. Then one evening, Yusuf burst into my tiny room with news. "He's coming here," he said breathlessly. "Lawson is coming to Dubai next month for a major contract signing. Government officials, investors, everyone will be there." I felt something cold settle in my chest. Determination, rage, justice. "He'll see me again," I said quietly. Yusuf looked at me for a long moment. "You sure about this, brother? Once you start, there's no going back." I thought about waking up in that dumpster, about my passport with those notes, about Lawson's laughter as he left me to die. "I'm sure," I said. "Let's plan." The hotel ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and expensive suits. I wore a waiter's uniform, head down, tray in hand. Nobody looked at waiters. We were invisible. I moved through the crowd, heart pounding, searching. Then I saw him. Lawson stood near the stage, laughing with investors, glass of champagne in hand. He looked successful, confident, completely untouched by what he'd done to me. I walked closer, letting my path cross his line of sight. Our eyes met. His smile froze. Color drained from his face. Recognition flashed across his features, followed immediately by panic. He knew me. Despite the weight I'd lost, the sun damage, the month that had passed, he knew exactly who I was. For a moment, neither of us moved. Then Lawson's face shifted into something smooth and fake. He turned to a security guard and whispered urgently while keeping that plastic smile fixed. The guard's eyes found me. "Get him out," I heard Lawson say, quietly. But I was already moving toward the projection system, my hand slipping into my pocket. The flash drive felt heavy as I palmed it near the laptop, controlling the presentation. I had seconds. The guard was coming. My fingers found a USB port just as hands grabbed my shoulders. The guard dragged me toward the exit, but behind us, the projector screen flickered. Lawson was midway through his speech when his own bank statements appeared on screen. Transaction after transaction. Money laundering evidence blown up 40 feet high for everyone to see. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Investors stood up, faces confused and angry. Lawson's microphone fell from his hand. But then something unexpected happened. Lawson didn't panic. He smiled. Actually smiled. He picked up the microphone calmly and pointed at a man in the front row, his business partner, a man named Ahmed. "This explains everything," Lawson said smoothly. "Ahmed, I suspected you were stealing for months. This confirms it." The crowd's attention shifted. Ahmed's face went red. "What? No, I didn't." Security moved toward Ahmed instead. Lawson had flipped it. Somehow, impossibly, he'd turned my evidence against someone else. As the guards dragged me into a side hallway, Lawson followed. He leaned close to my ear, his breath hot against my face. "You want war, Emeka?" he whispered. "Come home. Let's finish this properly." 2 days later, I was deported. They put me on a plane back to Nigeria with nothing but my fake passport and a warning never to return to Dubai. But I wasn't the same person who'd left. I was stronger now, focused. I had evidence, allies, and a purpose. The plane touched down in Lagos at dawn. I took a taxi toward my old neighborhood, watching familiar streets pass by. Everything looked the same, but felt different. I was supposed to be dead. What would I find? Then I saw it. A poster on a telephone pole, weathered but readable. Black border. My face. In loving memory of Emeka. My hands went numb. I made the driver stop. I walked up the poster, touching the paper with shaking fingers. There were details. A memorial service. A date. Last month. Lawson had declared me dead. He'd held a funeral. My family thought I was gone. I pulled out my phone and called Yusuf. "He killed me," I said. Officially, there was a memorial service. Yusuf was quiet for a moment. Then "He won't expect a ghost to come back. Use it." The cemetery was quiet except for birds and distant traffic. I stood behind a large monument, watching the small gathering around my grave. My mother cried into a handkerchief. My sister held her, both their faces destroyed by grief. And there, giving a speech, was Lawson. He wore a black suit, his voice solemn and practiced. Emeka was like family to me, he said. A dedicated employee, a good man. His loss overseas was a tragedy none of us saw coming. Lies. Every word was a lie. My fingernails dug into my palms as I fought to stay hidden. I wanted to scream, to run to my mother, to wrap my hands around Lawson's throat. But then I noticed something that made my blood freeze. Lawson's new wife stood beside him, young and beautiful. Around her neck was a gold necklace I recognized immediately. My mother's necklace. The one my grandmother had given her. The one she'd asked me to keep safe before I left for Dubai. Lawson had stolen it. He'd stolen everything. I took photos from my hiding spot, then texted Yusuf. Stage 2 begins. Getting hired at Lawson's company under my new identity was easier than expected. Daniel Okafor had a clean record. Decent references from Dubai contacts Yusuf arranged. And skills Lawson's expanding business needed. I walked into the office building 3 weeks after the cemetery visit, dressed professionally, my heart steady. The HR manager smiled and led me to my desk. You'll be working under Maya Lawson, she said, the boss's daughter. She runs the operations division. I kept my face neutral, but inside, my pulse quickened. His daughter. I'd be working directly under his daughter. Maya appeared 20 minutes later. She was nothing like her father. Mid-20s, sharp eyes, professional but warm. She shook my hand firmly and welcomed me to the team. For 2 weeks, I worked carefully. I watched, learned, stayed invisible. Then one afternoon, Maya stopped by my desk with a strange expression. Daniel, she said slowly, have we met before? You look so familiar. I smiled, keeping my voice casual. I just had one of those faces. But she kept staring, and I knew this was dangerous. The accident happened on a Tuesday. Maya was reviewing the warehouse inventory when the forklift malfunctioned. Its brakes failed, and it came barreling toward her. I saw it happening before anyone else did. I ran, grabbed her arm, and yanked her sideways. The forklift slammed into the wall where she'd been standing, sending crates crashing everywhere. Maya sat on the floor, breathing hard, staring at the destruction. That could have killed me, she whispered. I helped her up. Are you okay? Security came running. Maintenance checked the forklift. The brake line had been cut cleanly. Someone had sabotaged it. Maya's face went pale when they told her. Later, she called me into her office privately. Thank you, she said. You saved my life. Then her expression changed. Daniel, I need to tell you something. I think my father is hiding something dark. I've suspected it for months, but I can't prove anything. My heart pounded. Why tell me? She looked at me with exhausted, honest eyes. Because you're the only person in this company I trust right now. I made a decision. I pulled out my phone and showed her a single document, her father's bank transfers. Her hands shook as she read. Where did you get this? Maya spent 3 days going through everything I showed her. Bank records, Dubai evidence, communications between her father and officials. She looked sick by the end. I need to show you something, she said finally. We met at her apartment. She opened a safe hidden behind a painting and pulled out papers. A will, her father's secret will. I found this last year, she said. I wasn't supposed to. It was in his private safe at home. I read it and my anger multiplied. Lawson was leaving everything to his mistress, a woman named Gloria. Not Maya, not his wife, not his family. Everything went to Gloria. There's more, Maya said quietly. He has another child, a son, in Ghana. Nobody in our family knows. She showed me birth certificates, photos, school records. Lawson had a whole secret life. Maya looked at me with tears in her eyes. Help me expose him, she said. I don't know who you really are, Daniel, but I know you want to take him down. So do I. I should have told her the truth then, but I wasn't ready. I'll help you, I promised. Together, we'll make him pay. We started small. Anonymous tips to newspapers about minor scandals. Employees began talking. Clients started asking uncomfortable questions. Lawson's perfect image developed cracks. But he wasn't stupid. Within 2 weeks, He hired private investigators to find who was leaking information. I had to be more careful. One evening, I stayed late to access files from his personal office. I copied everything to an external drive, working fast. But as I left, I noticed a security camera in the hallway flickering. Had it been recording? Days later, Maya pulled me into a conference room, her face pale. "They have footage," she whispered. "Someone's face partially visible in the hallway. My father is furious. He's reviewing it today." My stomach dropped. If he enhanced that image, if he saw even part of my face clearly, he might recognize me. "I need to leave," I told Maya. "Now." She grabbed my arm. "Wait, let me help. I can delete files before he reviews them." But it was too late. That afternoon, security cornered me in the parking lot. 3 men. "No escape. Mr. Lawson wants to see you," one said. I ran. I fought hard, landing punches that surprised them, but there were 3 of them and they were trained. I was backing into a corner when a car screeched into the parking lot. Yusuf. He'd been watching from outside, waiting for my signal. "Get in," he screamed. I broke free and dove into his car. We peeled out as security chased us. "How did you know?" I panted. Yusuf grinned. "I always know, brother. That's why I joined the syndicate." "Syndicate?" "Hackers. We work together now. Your problems are bigger than one man can handle." He drove us to a safe house, apartment filled with computers and people I didn't know. Young Nigerians, screens glowing with code. "These are my friends," Yusuf said. "They owe me favors. They'll help us take Lawson down properly." A woman named Blessing looked up from her laptop. "We've been monitoring Lawson's accounts for weeks. Tonight, we strike. Are you ready?" I looked at all of them. These strangers risking everything to help me. "Let's destroy him," I said. At midnight, Blessing's fingers flew across her keyboard. Within minutes, she'd cracked Lawson's security. Files downloaded rapidly. Bank accounts, property records, tax fraud evidence, offshore investments, everything. "This is enough to put him away for 20 years, Yusuf said, watching the data flood in. But then something appeared on screen that made everyone go quiet. A folder, encrypted, named Project E. Blessing worked for 10 minutes breaking the encryption. When it opened, I felt my world tilt. Inside were documents detailing exactly how Lawson planned to get rid of me. Emails to contacts in Dubai. Payments to officials to ignore my disappearance. A timeline. Photos of me, marked with dates and locations. Instructions on how to dispose of a body in construction sites. It was all planned, documented, saved. He kept evidence of his own crime, Blessing whispered. Why would he keep this? I knew why. Because Lawson thought he was untouchable. He kept trophies of his victories. This was proof that he'd successfully murdered someone and gotten away with it. "Send it to everyone," I said. "Every news station, every government office. Make sure the world sees what he is." I didn't wait for his response. That night, I broke into Lawson's office. The building was empty, dark except for emergency lights. I picked the lock on his door and slipped inside. His desk was immaculate, everything perfectly organized. I started going through drawers, looking for anything we'd missed. "Hello, Emeka." I froze. The lights turned on. Lawson sat in his chair, appearing from the shadows like he'd been waiting there the whole time. "You think I didn't know?" he said calmly. "You think I didn't recognize you the moment you stepped into my company?" My hand moved toward my phone. He held up his own. "I've known who Daniel really was for weeks. I wanted to see what you'd do. Wanted to watch you scramble." He stood, walking around the desk. "You're persistent, I'll give you that. Most people I destroy stay destroyed. But not you. You came back like a cockroach." Anger burned through my fear. "You left me to die. You stole from me. You declared me dead." Lawson smiled. "And I'll do it again. Properly this time." His hand moved under the desk. A silent alarm. I heard footsteps in the hallway. "Goodbye, Emeka." Security burst in, but they weren't alone. Maya walked in behind them, her face unreadable. "Maya," I said, relief flooding through me. Help me? But she didn't move toward me. She stood beside her father. Lawson put his arm around her shoulders. My daughter understands family loyalty, he said. Don't you, sweetheart? Maya looked at me, and I saw something in her eyes. Fear. I'm sorry, Daniel, she whispered. He knows what I did. The signatures I forged 2 years ago to save the company. He'll expose me if I don't cooperate. My heart sank. He was using her, blackmailing his own daughter. Maya, don't, I said. He's manipulating you. Enough, Lawson snapped. He turned to security. Call the police. Tell them we have an intruder who's been stealing company secrets. I'll press full charges. They grabbed my arms. Maya wouldn't look at me as they dragged me past her. I'm sorry, she said again, so quietly I almost didn't hear it. In that moment, I realized Lawson always had a backup plan, always stayed 3 steps ahead, and I'd walked right into his trap. The prison cell was small, hot, and smelled like desperation. I sat on the concrete bench, my head in my hands, trying to figure out how everything had gone so wrong. 2 days passed before anyone spoke to me. Then a guard brought me to a visiting room. An old man sat waiting, his hands covered in scars, his eyes sharp despite his age. I'm Benson, he said. I worked for Lawson 15 years ago. I sat down slowly. He destroyed you too? Benson laughed bitterly. Destroyed is an understatement. He framed me for embezzlement. I spent 8 years here. Lost my family, my life, everything. He leaned forward. But I kept records, evidence he has political connections. Senators, judges, police commissioners. That's why he never gets caught. He owns people. Why tell me? Benson pulled out a folded paper from his shirt and slid it across the table. Because I've been waiting for someone strong enough to fight back. You're that person. This is a list of everyone he's paid off. Use it. That night, bars rattled in my cell. Yusuf's face appeared in the shadows outside. Did you think I'd abandon you, brother? He whispered. Guards are bribed. Let's go. Within minutes, I was free, running through Lego streets like a ghost. We went underground completely. Yusuf took me to a network of people I never knew existed. Workers Lawson had exploited. Families he'd destroyed. Business partners he betrayed. There were dozens of us. We met in a warehouse, and I told them everything. Showed them evidence. Made them understand we were stronger together. A woman named P stood up, crying. He fired my husband when he got sick. We lost our home. A young man named Chitty raised his hand. He promised me a scholarship, then disappeared with the money. Story after story. Victim after victim. Then someone unexpected walked through the door. Lawson's wife. Mrs. Lawson looked terrified but determined. I want to help, she said. He's been abusing me for years. I've been too scared to leave. She handed me a USB drive. Everything you need is here. Videos of him threatening workers, forging contracts, hurting people. I recorded it all. I stared at the USB drive. Why now? She smiled sadly. Because my daughter called me. Maya told me what he did to you, what he's doing to her. It's time to stop him. We had everything. Finally, we had everything we needed to destroy him. I sent the videos to every major news station in Nigeria simultaneously. By morning, Lawson's face was everywhere. Headlines screamed corruption, fraud, attempted murder. The videos showed him clearly, undeniably guilty. Social media exploded. People shared stories. His company's stock crashed. But Lawson fought back with a move I didn't anticipate. He held a press conference. Calm, collected, lying. These videos are fabricated, he said smoothly. Emeka was a troubled employee I tried to help. When I had to let him go, he became radicalized. He's now working with terrorist organizations to destroy legitimate Nigerian businesses. The word terrorist echoed through every broadcast. Suddenly, public opinion shifted. Some people believed him. The government announced an investigation, not into Lawson, but into me. They put a bounty on my head. 1 million naira for information leading to my capture. I watched the press conference from our warehouse hideout, my hands shaking with rage. He's making you the villain, Yusuf said quietly. What do we do now? I looked at all the people gathered around me, all the victims waiting for justice. We give them the truth, I said. All of it. Everything at once. Tomorrow we end this. We went to war. Every day, we release more evidence. Financial records, victim testimonies, photos, videos. The media couldn't ignore it anymore. Protests started outside Lawson's office. Small at first, then growing. Hundreds of people. Thousands. His empire was crumbling, but he still had power. Then Yusuf disappeared. He went to buy supplies and never came back. I searched everywhere, called everyone, nothing, until my phone buzzed with a video message. Yusuf was tied to a chair in an empty room, his face bruised and bleeding. Behind him stood Lawson, smiling at the camera. Come alone, Emeka, Lawson's voice said. Tonight, the old factory on Creek Road. Come alone if you want him alive. The video ended. Everyone in the warehouse looked at me. It's a trap, P said. You can't go. But Yusuf had saved my life. Multiple times. He'd risked everything for a stranger. I have to, I said. Call the police. Give them everything we have. But I'm going to get my friend. Blessing grabbed my arm. At least take this. She handed me a phone with a live stream app open. We'll be watching. You won't be alone. The factory was exactly where Lawson said it would be. Abandoned. Dark. Perfect for violence. I walked to the broken door, my phone streaming everything to Blessing and the others. I'm here, I shouted. Lights flickered on. Lawson stood in the center of the space, Yusuf still tied to a chair beside him. Two large men flanked him, clearly hired muscle. Brave of you to come, Lawson said. Stupid but brave. Let him go. This is between us. Lawson laughed. Nothing is between us, Emeka. You're nothing. You were always nothing. That's why it was so easy to throw you away. He pulled out a gun. My blood ran cold. I'm going to kill both of you tonight. Self-defense. You attacked me. I had no choice. He raised the gun toward me. I closed my eyes, preparing for shot. Then the door burst open. Police flooded in, weapons drawn. And leading them was Maya, her face fierce and determined. Drop the weapon, officers shouted. Lawson spun, confused. Maya, what are you doing? What I should have done months ago, she said. I've been working with Emeka. I was undercover, gathering evidence. Everything you just said was recorded. It's over, father. Lawson ran. He didn't think. He just bolted toward the back exit. I chased him. Through the factory, out into the night, rain starting to pour. My lungs burned, but I pushed harder. He slipped on wet pavement and went down, rolling toward the edge of a drainage canal. He grabbed onto a rusty pipe, his legs dangling over rushing water. Help me, he screamed. I stood above him, rain soaking through my clothes. This was it. The man who tried to kill me, who destroyed so many lives, hanging by his fingernails. I could walk away. Let him fall. Let the world be rid of him. His eyes met mine, terrified. Human, please, he whispered. I thought about everything he'd done, everything he'd taken. Then I reached down and grabbed his arm. Not like this, I said, pulling him up. You don't get to die. You get to face what you've done. Police surrounded us moments later. They handcuffed Lawson as he knelt in the mud. He looked at me with something like surprise. Why did you save me? I smiled coldly. Because living through your consequences will hurt more than dying. They took him away. The trial lasted 3 months. Evidence was overwhelming. Financial fraud, attempted murder, labor exploitation, conspiracy. The courtroom was packed every day. Victims testified. Documents were presented. Lawson's lawyers tried everything, but there was no escaping the truth. Maya testified against her father, tears streaming down her face as she detailed his abuse and crimes. Mrs. Lawson did the same. Even some of his political connections turned on him, trying to save themselves. The judge's verdict was swift. Guilty on all counts. 25 years in prison. All assets seized and distributed to victims. The courtroom erupted in cheers. I sat quietly, feeling something I hadn't felt in over a year. Peace. Outside, reporters swarmed. Maya stood beside me, facing the cameras. Today, justice was served, she said. My father's crimes are inexcusable. I'm dedicating myself to rebuilding our company ethically, with Emeka as my partner. I looked at her, surprised. Partner? She smiled. You earned it. Help me make something good from all this destruction. The court also addressed my identity. The judge officially restored my legal status as Emeka, compensated for my suffering, and cleared my record. I was alive again. Officially. Finally. 6 months later, I stood in a new office, looking out at Lagos. The company Maya and I built together was small, but growing. We specialize in workers' rights and ethical business practices. Yusuf worked as our security consultant, making sure no one got exploited again. Peace ran HR. Chitty managed community outreach. We hired Lawson's victims whenever we could. My mother visited yesterday. She cried when she saw me, touching my face like she couldn't believe I was real. My son, she whispered. My son came back from the dead. I hugged her tightly. Finally home. Then this morning, something arrived at the office. A message. No return address. Just a note. He wasn't working alone. There's someone else. Someone bigger. Dubai sends its regards. I stare at the note, my blood running cold. Yusuf read it over my shoulder. What does this mean? I thought about everything that happened. How organized it was. How connected. How Lawson had resources beyond his means. It means this isn't over, I said quietly. Maya looked worried. What do we do? I folded the note and put it in my pocket. For the first time in a year, I smiled. A real smile. We do what we've always done, I said. We fight back. Because I'd learned something important through all of this. I wasn't the person Lawson tried to kill. I was stronger, smarter, backed by people who believed in justice. Whatever came next, we'd face it together. The war wasn't over. But this time I was ready. If you were in my place, what would you have done? Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you have a story to tell, you're not alone here.